focus now on the real estate sector. Now, the sector in H1 FY25, which is basically April to the September period, saw fewer launches. Can the launches improve in the second half? And how is the inventory overhang? And what is in store for the realty sector going into 2025? To discuss all this, we have Anuj Puri, Chairman of ANAROCK Property Consultants, and Rajat Kathuria, CEO at Signature Global India, joining us on the show now. But do you think by the end of the year, the 11 listed developers will be able to achieve their guidance of 250 million square feet of launches? Question number one. And is there a geographical breakup? Because we hear of tech issues at registration offices, particularly in Bangalore.
It is true, Rima, that the e-Khatha is taking a very long time to be able to, get in the registration of the sold apartments even is. The majority of this supply is going to come in Maharashtra. If you were to speak with these top 11 listed developers, and, Rajat is there from Signature Global, and they are sort of the number 2 guy who had given the guidance in terms of the square foot that they were going to launch. My guess is about 25 million that they had given guidance. I do feel is when you speak with these 11 listed guys, they have a game plan and they should be able to deliver on the guidance that they had given at the start of this year.
Okay, all right, Mr. Puri, got that. So let's get in Rajat then into the discussion. Rajat, the 29 million is on.
So good morning. I think to everyone, and congratulations to the ANAROCK team for coming up with a very well researched paper. So our position is that we've upward revised the launch pipeline. So it's actually gone up to about 35 million, of which 9 million has been launched over the last 9 months. We intend to do launches worth 16,000 crores for this financial year, and this was our guidance, and we are very comfortable position to achieving it during the course of this year.
Okay, so you'll do more than actually what you earlier thought you would do, in spite of having a softest start, in comparison, if I look at it mathematically. Got that, Rajat? Mr. Puri, then what do you say? 250 million is what you thought at the start. Only 57 was done at the first half, at the end of the first half. Realistically, what should we end this year with?
My guess is, Nigel, we should be about 225 to 250. Again, I say is that I've met up with these top 11 listed players. Prestige is the number 1. Out of the 250, about 75 million square feet is coming from there itself is. They are very confident that they should be able to deliver on the guidance. And it's a delight to hear, Rajat, that he is actually moving ahead of the 29 million square feet guidance that they had given. So I would say is that we should be in the ballpark, to answer your question, Nigel, between sort of 5-10% of the numbers that they had given at the start of the year.
Anuj, in your conversation then with the developers, what are they talking about for 2025 in terms of, launches, in terms of execution? You spoke about fundraise. Is it largely done for all these companies, or, next year could see more fundraise?
So, Rima, I'm sure that next year we'll see more fundraise. There are a number of, developers who are wanting to get into the listed space, so they will be raising more capital. Majority of these listed developers are at a very comfortable position. If you were to look at DLF, Godrej, even Prestige, they are almost at net zero debt. So their ability to go out and buy larger land parcels is very high. On the other hand, demand continues to remain very strong if you go in the mid and luxury and premium levels. And so, they are there's a huge amount of enthusiasm that demand is strong. They are well capitalized and they have the ability to execute. I think the only trouble is how do you get in this approval and regulatory sort of clearances quicker? The rest of it is all sort of well oiled.
Rajat, would you be looking to raise money? I know you did your IPO just last year, about 14 months back, but is there a fundraise on the anvil for you?
So, Rima, there's no fundraise plan as of now. The operating cash flows tend to be supporting the growth of the company. So our operating cash flows are fairly healthy. For this year, we intend to collect close to 6,000 crores, and the budgeted operating surplus is almost 45%, which should give us about 2,500 crores of operating cash post payment of taxes, which will either go into acquiring new land parcels or will go into debt reduction. And if you look at even the industry, the broader trend is that a lot of the growth is being funded either through equity infusions, because see, these are listed companies. I think, equity markets have been kind. The balance sheet of all these companies put together are looking much healthier than what they used to look about 3 to 4 years ago. So a lot of the growth is being funded either through operating cash flows or through equity infusions. But for Signature Global, we have no plans as yet to raise any equity in the next year.
Okay, all right, gentlemen. Thanks a lot, Rajat as well as Anuj, for joining in. If we don't speak before the end of this calendar year, wishing you all a good end to the year and looking forward to chatting up with both of you all in 2025.
Thank you, Nigel.
Thanks a lot.